Has said many occasions that she is not a politician, but last night, former First Lady Michelle Obama gave a very clear message of support for Joe Biden while sharing some choice words for President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
All right, here to share her thoughts on yesterday's kickoff to the Democratic National Convention is Pix 11 political contributor Tara Dowdell. Good morning to you, Tara. How you doing?
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So we'll get your thoughts on Michelle Obama's speech in just a second, but I want to get your overall take on this virtual format, right? A lot of people were unsure how this would look, how it would feel, the flow of it all. What'd you think?
I think it was a strong opening night for the convention, and a big part of that was Michelle Obama. I mean, her speech, and I know we're going to get into it, but she was the closer. They put her at the end, and she did what she was supposed to do. She was the closer. And then the moment with the children, right? A moment of hope, a moment of inspiration, a moment of showcasing the future of our country and how the future could be bright.
The national anthem you're referring to, which showcased everybody from 50 states, all races, all colors, all genders. It was incredible to watch, and it was very powerful to hear. And, you know, let me get into that speech now with the former First Lady, because she spoke with passion. What did you think overall of her speech? It had some subtleties in it, right? It is what it is, referencing when President Trump said it is what it is about the deaths of Americans due to coronavirus.
I thought that speech was elegant fury. She had two calls. She called out the president, and rightfully so, and she had a call to action for the urgency of the moment for Democrats, that they need to get out to vote, that Americans need to get out to vote. And I thought it was a really powerful speech. And I think her authenticity really is what makes her such an effective speaker, because as she says, she hates politics, right? She is here because she believes that the moment calls for people to come out and vote, and that she is opposed to Donald Trump and what he's doing to the country. And that's where I say the elegant fury, because you could tell she's angry about what's happening in this country with COVID-19, our economy. And she was clear. It's the sharpest statements I've ever heard her make, because she's avoided sort of direct attacks. But last night you could tell that it's been too much for her, and she felt the need to speak forcefully on the shortcomings and the failures of the Trump administration.
She called the president incompetent. She said he had a lack of empathy to feel what other people are feeling and walk in their shoes. But I do want to point out what some of the headlines are this morning, saying that, well, Michelle Obama had a subtle dig by leaving out Kamala Harris, by no mention of Kamala Harris, but there's a reason for that.
Yes, there's a reason for that. It was pre-recorded, so that's part of how it works with these live, quote unquote, live to tape conventions that are pre-recorded. So she made this video and this speech prior to Kamala having been selected as the nominee for vice president by Joe Biden.
We also heard from some of Joe Biden's former contenders, right? Amy Klobuchar as well as Bernie Sanders. I want to take a listen to what Bernie Sanders had to say and then get your take on it.
This election is the most important in the modern history of this country. In response to the unprecedented crises we face, we need an unprecedented response, a movement like never before, of people who are prepared to stand up and fight for democracy and decency, and against greed, oligarchy, and bigotry.
All right, so there's Bernie Sanders in his own words. And I want to talk about this because in 2016, his supporters seemed disillusioned when he did not get the Democratic nomination. Many did not get behind Hillary Clinton. Do you think his message and his speech were able to pull some of his supporters in to back Joe Biden?
Well, there was a lot of bad blood between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. I don't think that's the case with Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. Clearly, it's not the case. I think even the cadence of his speech, the fact that he spoke on the first night, you could see there's a level of respect there. And also, look, Bernie Sanders is important to the Democratic Party. He energizes young people, and I do think his speech was important. And what he did was, which was really critical last night, was he talked about Joe Joe Biden's policies, because I think the Democrats need to talk about their policies more. And he talked about the $15 minimum wage.
Right.
He talked about, while he disagrees with Joe Biden on health care, that he does support Joe Biden's pathway to ensure that more people are covered, particularly in the midst of a pandemic, and lowering the Medicare age to 60 and protecting Social Security. So he talked about the policies, and I think that was for his supporters, so that Bernie's supporters would know there are a lot of progressive policies on Joe Biden's platform.
Tara, running out of time here. Lastly, I want to get your take on Governor Andrew Cuomo, the local voice, right, that he spoke to last night, specifically zeroing in on coronavirus. In your thoughts, what did his voice lend to?
Local voice, national hero. I mean, he was, during the height of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19 epidemic here in New York State. I think that he was a clarion figure for so many of us. He was someone that gave us comfort, that he had a plan, and he gave the nation comfort because he stepped up in a way that the president didn't, and it was a huge contrast. So I think having him on that stage last night was a reminder of the steady leadership of the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party.
Tara, thank you. And hopefully we have you back this week to talk about more hits and misses. My miss would be the music acts. Didn't feel like they belonged, but that's just my opinion. All right, but I get it. You got to break up the monotony of the speeches. Yeah, right. Nobody wants that. Nobody asked for that. All right, Tara, thank you very much.